What do you mean Ernest Jones missed practice yesterday? What is happening to our starting middle linebacker? I had heard from head coach Mike McDonald, of course, on his radio show, that Drake Thomas might be dealing with an injury bug. We had heard that, hey, maybe potentially Julian Love might be dealing with something, but he'll be a limited participant. We all knew that Sam Darnold, we all knew that Charles Cross, they had injury bugaboos. I expected them to be limited participants or not participate in practice. I hadn't heard anything about Ernest Jones. I don't believe that you had heard anything about Ernest Jones, and he's unable to go in practice yesterday. We're going to get into the latest and greatest or worst injury news, depending on your perspective, on the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots in this video. This is Seahawks Today. I am right now a little bit of a concerned host, Will Ortner, because we're talking about the Seahawks injury report, and of course, we're going to talk about the Patriots injury report as well. But to me, there's a couple of worrisome news right now when you're looking at the Seahawks. Patriots injury report is a little bit more of what we were expecting, but it is still something that we definitely have to dive into. Before we do that, you got to check out these sweet T-shirts. Mob Mentality, only $34.99. Right now, we're in a sale battle with Patriots Today. We've got the sweet black shirt that I've got on right here. You can see we're going to have the navy pop up right there. Patriots Today, we ended up beating them in our sales off 9-8. Make sure that you help us continue to beat Patriots Today. Come on in, grab the t-shirt. It's so fresh, it's so fly. It's going to be the talk of the town wherever you go out and wear it, so grab yours today. It's important to remember that when we are talking about the injury report for tomorrow, that neither the Patriots or the Seahawks practiced. It was more of a, this is what the expectation is based on of the different treatments that certain players have gotten. Basically saying that whoever ends up on the injury report for whatever that may be, it isn't necessarily that a player missed a practice or barely participated in practice. It's more of letting us know that if there was a practice on Wednesday that was actually held, this is how they would have participated in that practice. It is important to note that the practice tonight and on Friday are going to be more of a true look about where these players are in the week before the Super Bowl. So here's the Seahawks injury report that they ended up having to release. And for the most part, hey, Chaz Surratt, he's out there as a full participant. It's good to see that Drake Thomas, while being limited, he would have been able to go. Josh Jones, Sam Darnold. Most of the injury report is pretty okay and looks pretty darn good until you get to that second guy right there from the top. Ernest Jones, your starting middle linebacker, my starting middle linebacker, our starting middle linebacker, did not participate in practice for the Seattle Seahawks on Wednesday. If there was a practice on Wednesday, he wouldn't have been able to go, and that makes me worried for him potentially not being able to go on Thursday when the Seahawks actually have a practice. Are you concerned with the injury report? A lot of names ended up popping up on that list for the Seahawks, including our starting middle linebacker. Let me know down below in the comment section. Is it too early to worry about injury news? You're going to type no and then explain why it would be too early. If you are concerned, like me, you're going to type yes and then explain, hey, I don't like it when my starting middle linebacker ends up on the injury report. Let me know down below in the comment section where your head's at right now. So the big injury, obviously, that we are going to dive into and everyone's kind of concerned about is Ernest Jones and his chest injury. Now, there wasn't a whole lot of conversation around Jones being banged up, being beat up. Obviously, after the game, he was running around having a good time. So this could be the type of injury that was a little bit late setting in. These things happen pretty, not consistently in football. It happens in high school, college, and in the National Football League. But sometimes you got the adrenaline going, you're playing so well that you don't frickin' care. And then the minute that you get back and you take a deep breath and you kind of realize where you're at, you let the adrenaline kind of run out, you feel what your injury status is. Now, through 2 games, obviously Ernest Jones has performed really well in the playoffs, including getting an interception, forcing a fumble as well. He's just been playing lights out. Seattle would not be at 100% if they did not have him. I don't want to say that he would completely derail the Seahawks from having an opportunity to win a game like this, but to say that losing Ernest Jones wouldn't be a factor would be a big lie, right? I'm not in the business of lying to you, the Seahawks fans. I'm a bit worried. I am a bit concerned. Now, am I over here smashing the panic button yet? No, of course not. It's Wednesday, and we're still going to have, 10, 11 days before the Super Bowl? So there's plenty of time for him to get rested up and healed up. But I will say that I'm definitely going to keep a bigger eye in both my eyes on Ernest Jones and where he's at on the injury report. Drake Thomas was not as shocking to end up on the injury list because we all kind of knew that. Obviously, he got hurt in the NFC Championship game, had to leave for a little bit. Thomas had a basically coming out party this year, becoming a star for the Seahawks. Now, the playoffs, his numbers aren't quite as big as they have been in previous runs. Doing a great job of still getting tackles, not really getting downhill and making tackles in the backfield like he had been in the regular season. But the Seahawks are also not blitzing him quite as much. He was making a bunch of TFLs and getting to the quarterback a lot on blitzes, where Seattle, clearly they felt like they didn't need to blitz against San Francisco. And they also clearly did not want to blitz as much against Matthew Stafford. They seem to have a better idea of dropping back into coverage. This is going to be an injury that I want to keep an eye on. It's not saying that Tyrese Knight isn't a good backup and someone who could come in and play very well for the Seahawks. But Drake Thomas has clearly earned a lot of the playing time that he has gotten. So to me, I definitely want to keep an eye on it, but I'm also not going to be freaking out too much. Make sure you hit that sub button here on Seahawks Today. We are growing rapidly, and we are trying to catch up to our Knicks channel as soon as possible. We're within 1,000 subscribers, so come on in and hit that sub button. The last player, I almost said linebacker, but he plays safety, that I do want to talk about, of course, is Julian Love, and he popped up with a shoulder injury as well. I think it's important to note that with Julian Love here, this is probably more of a, hey, he came in and he got treatment type of injury, and not necessarily something that's really going to keep him out. It's also imperative for the Seahawks to get some rest for some guys that have been dealing with some things. This could be an easy spot where the Seahawks get Love some rest. When you look at his stats for the playoffs, obviously nothing is going to really jump off the page to you. But to sit here and say that Love hasn't played well in this postseason would just be a lie and an understatement. I think that he's done a lot of good things in the back end, and he hasn't allowed a lot of balls to be caught on him, whether he is locking down the receiver and making it so that the quarterback has to look the other way, or because he's done a great job of knocking the football down. When I look at Julian Love and his injury issues this season, of course this is going to concern me a little bit, but it is important to note this isn't a hamstring injury, which kept Love out for most of the season this year. This is a shoulder injury, so it's a new bugaboo. It's something that, hey, he might just be getting extra treatment while you're going through the down week right now, and now is the perfect time to get that healthy. So again, I'm a little bit concerned, but I'm not a lot of bit concerned, if that makes sense. We're going to get into the Patriots injury news in just a moment, but first, I got to let you know about my good friends over at Rocket Money because I have to brag about the vacation that I have planned for this summer. Super excited about it. Going to do all of the things, getting to go back home to Washington State. And to be able to do that, I needed to have Rocket Money help me set some money aside and create a budget so I can have this wonderful trip. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has helped me track some of my subscriptions. We found out I was double paying for a couple of streaming services. Rocket Money helped me cancel those extra subscriptions, saving some money and starting saving that money towards that budget for that big vacation. Rocket Money is also helping me set spending goals each month. And so now I'm saving a little bit extra, a little bit extra, a little bit extra. And of course, I'm then taking that money and putting it into that budget. Now I'm well on track to make sure that I'm able to do all of the fun things that I want to do when I go on that great and grand vacation. Shout out to Rocket Money. Thank you so much for your help. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. That's rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. Shout out to Rocket Money. Drake Maye, we had heard rumors and we were talking about Pro Football Doc. I was kind of like dipping my toe into the water here on Drake Maye's injury, and then all of a sudden, Vrabel says that maybe there's a bugaboo there. All of a sudden, Drake Maye says that there's an injury issue there, and lo and behold, guess who pops up on the injury report? Drake freaking Maye dealing with a shoulder injury. Now, Maye has claimed that the injury is more of something that has gone on throughout the season, a.k.a. essentially saying, I am hurt because I've had so many weeks of playing and so many weeks of being out on the field. And I think you're starting to see that when you look at his playoff stats. They're clearly going down. That completion percentage is going down, and the interception number is going slightly up. So when I look at Drake Maye, in my eyes, I'm not shocked that he ended up on this injury report. It just confirms that, of course, he is dealing with something. And if I'm the Seahawks, I'm licking my chops to get after him, because if he's dealing with something that isn't like an acute injury, aka something that was caused because of a hit, that means that rest is only going to be able to do so much for him. If I'm the Seattle Seahawks and I'm those defensive linemen, DeMarcus Lawrence, Uchenna Nwosu, Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy, Jaron Reed, list goes on and on. I'm fired up, and I cannot wait to go out and get after him, hopefully lay on him a little bit extra, see if they can't make that shoulder feel even more sore. Who you got in this game? Let me know down below in the comment section. If you want the Seahawks to win, you're going to type C. If you want the Patriots to win, you're going to type NE. I hope I see a lot more high C's than I see a lot more NEs. Next Patriot that we got to talk about is Robert Spillane. He's dealing with an ankle injury. We talked to you guys a little bit about this here on the channel, but now we got official confirmation that, of course, he's going to be dealing with that bugaboo. Now, Spillane is a player that has been really good this year for the Patriots, especially as a player that I don't think had a lot of fanfare, a lot of media attention as someone that was going to be a primetime performer for them. He's like this defense. He comes in, he does his job, and he does his job at a high level. Now, Spillane, I do believe, is going to be able to play. I don't see him not playing in this game, but it is important to note that when we talk about Spillane, we have to bring up the fact that he missed a lot of time this year because of a similar ankle injury. So to re-aggravate it is definitely going to be something to keep an eye on. Is he going to be able to cut the same way, come down into the box the same way with the same aggression? Potentially not. And if he isn't able to do that, well, the Seahawks have to take advantage, not just in the ground game, but also in the passing game, having maybe A.J. Barner, or if Elijah Arroyo is able to be on the active roster, having Elijah Arroyo really go in and attack Spillane. Offensive tackle Morgan Moses, he was on the injury report because of rest. I think this is important to note because Moses, he really struggled in the last postseason game. In fact, both of the tackles between Moses and Will Campbell have struggled in a lot of this postseason against some of the premier edge rushers that they are having to go against. In my opinion, he is going to need his rest. Moses, that is, if he's going to have any chance of stopping Uchenna Nwosu and DeMarcus Lawrence out on the edge, and that's not even including Devin Witherspoon or Nick Eamon-Wari, who can be added into different blitz packages. I look at this offensive line as a potential position for the Seahawks to exploit, and I think that they really can do that. Last guy that had some missed practice, ended up being limited, is Mack Hollins. He's dealing with a core injury. It's important to note that Hollins did return to this Patriots team in the AFC Championship, but this is something that he's been dealing with this entire year. Now, again, the Patriots wide receiving core, other than Stephon Diggs, no one really jumps out to you. Mack Hollins is a solid receiver in the National Football League. He's big, he's strong, he's physical, and he's someone that the Patriots like to target in the red zone and on short yardage situations. Him not being able to go in this game, I don't think is likely. I think he will play. Obviously, everyone's going to do everything in their power to be able to play at the highest level that they possibly can. But again, it's another weapon for Drake Maye. Drake Maye has not looked good in this postseason, and if they have another weapon that is in a limited participation role or is not able to play at 100%, it's definitely something that we have to take a look at, and definitely something that we have to be aware of. Make sure that you come on in and hit that like button. Don't jinx it. You want the Seahawks to come away with a Super Bowl victory. Get revenge for the PNW over the New England Patriots. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. Hit that subscribe button if you have not already. We've got you covered in the build-up all the way to the Super Bowl. Have a lot of really fun things planned for that week, so make sure that you hit that sub button so you don't miss out on any of that coverage. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Maybe there'll be a couple of big-time videos that you definitely want to check out. And, of course, we'll have you covered in the off-season as well. So that's why you subscribe. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video, and I can't wait to see you next time.